Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome back to Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles with the Quinns.
And Holy Spirit.
Never.
Don't leave home without it.
Amen to that.
Yes, amen to that.
All right, so we did the how we choose what we are going to study in A Course in Miracles each time is we say a prayer where we ask Spirit to choose through us what and where in A Course in Miracles that we should study, and then we pull out our handy-dandy random number generator app, and then we let it choose for us, and it chose chapter 27, section 3 if you're in the blue covered edition, and 27.4 if you are in the purple covered edition or black covered with white girls. And it's called Power Unopposed.
Power unopposed.
That's all I really wanted. I just wanted to have my power never be opposed. And then I thought I'd be happy.
But who would really want power if there was nothing to oppose it? What good would the power be?
Not
if
at
there
all.
was nothing opposing?
Not at all.
Then
not
it would never be used because, there's nothing coming to oppose
Right.
it. So.
Right. Unless it's the power of love. And then it's like, and that's what love is, a power unopposed.
Right.
And how do we experience power unopposed? How do we learn how to use power the right way for love?
Right.
I
was just going to say, wouldn't it be nice? Because when we're picturing power, don't we picture fighting?
Exactly.
Let's fight.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, exactly.
And but could you imagine a power where you don't need to extend that kind of energy? Because we all know the kind of energy that fighting produces.
Yeah.
It produces this anger and hostility and want to get you.
Definitely some pain.
Me. It's really a heavy, heavy energy. To be in this energy of wanting to fight, wanting to war with each other. We were just talking to a very bright young man just a little bit ago about fighting. And as we did, the energy level rises up just in the conversation because fighting brings with it a totally different dynamic, a different vibration, whatever you want to call it, a different mentality of thinking.
Exactly.
But anyway, to experience something that you don't have that kind of energy, that's you're having to be defending yourself, that you're being opposed, that you can just rest in, and no, I don't need to worry about that.
Right, and that's how it's talking about what is true power. And which follows nicely from our last 2 weeks. It was all about power, like in relationships where you don't share power. You think power is yours to give, and we're trying to get power from the situation, from our relationship. So power struggles. That's what we were talking about last 2 weeks in our class. Remember that? And now it's interesting theme and that is following is power. What is power? Tricia is chapter 27, 3 in the blue book. Oh wait.
Yeah, you said it right.
But actually, this.
What's that
yeah, that's
title
right.
there?
Yeah. But this is.
That's the annotated.
This is 4,
That's
right?
4.
Oh, so it's 4. So it's
But
27.4 in the purple book, and in the blue book it's 27.3.
Yeah, and the title of the blue book
is Beyond All Symbols. And I wrote in the description the sections and where they are. So if you need to look in the class description. Hi, Diana. So for the last 3 weeks in our class here has been a theme of power. It's been a theme of power and talking about relationships, and in the special relationship we don't share power.
Right.
We want to use our power over somebody to get something. We don't share power, and in the last 3 sections it was like that only God gives power, You know, it's not us who give power. Only God gives power. And whatever God hasn't created has no power to do anything. And then one of the lines was, you know, nothing can hurt you unless you give it the power to do so. And then in the section it was talking about in the relationship not sharing power.
Right.
And now the first line, the title of this is Unopposed Power. So I guess we're still on the theme of power.
And it's interesting. I love so much that you brought that up, for real, because Spirit has really had me on this quest of synchronicities, to look at common synchronicities. Now we're doing this prayer and we're saying, hey Spirit, what do you want us to study? And we just think randomly some lesson's going to fly out of the random number generator and come at you. But as Anna's pointing out, there is a very distinct ordering of our steps going on here, where that subject, because just before you said that, interestingly enough, I was going, we're just talking about, and I mean at the beginning of what you're saying, I was like, in my mind, we're just talking about sharing power, and now we got power and opposed. Synchronicities, because I got my mind thinking that way, and then you went right into it, and then you literally said what I had thought moments ago. Now that's powerful. But anyway,
exactly.
But anyway, our guide, our teacher, has us on a curriculum, has us on a path, on a theme, and right now the theme is, hey people, look at the world. The world is exploding, trying to show, hey, this is what power.
That's power and force. Power is force. This is what is going on in our world. Power is, we can murder your children more than you can murder our children. You know, power. That's what we think power is. We think power is, we have the biggest military.
Right.
We can do the most damage in the whole world. You know, whatever we want, we get. That's our version. That's the world's version of power, and you see what that version of power gets you. If that's our version of power, look what has gotten us, and a world at war, a world that's been at war for a long time.
And why? Because we refuse to go back to the ancient establishment as made by our source, that brought about all that is. We haven't gone back to that ancient roots, and we created our own power structure idea, what we think is power. Hey,
I give
we
power.
don't care what real power is.
I give power myself. I'm the author of power.
I'm pretty, powerful.
Look at my power. I manipulate somebody with guilt to get what I want.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
That's what power is, right?
That's what power looks like when you and I create power.
That's right. That's what our man-made power looks like.
Right.
It looks like manipulating others with guilt.
And we create when we act independent of creator. When we act on our own and we think we know what everything is, and the subject being right now as of recently is about power, and we think, well, we're gonna create our own idea of power. We don't care what the universal source of life says that power is, that made all things says it is. We're gonna invent our own idea of power, like you said beautifully, and we're gonna call it guilt.
And we're gonna use it against each other.
Oh yeah, we need an enemy.
Exactly. Our power always involves an enemy.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who the enemy is.
If you're going to have a power struggle.
Exactly. Our version of power is, it's what you take from another.
Right.
And something that you have over another, or that you take from another. That's our version of power.
Somebody has to be weaker.
Exactly. Somebody has to be weaker for me to be strong. Somebody has to lose for me to gain. That's our version of power. That's man-made power. And you see the result of that. What is it? It's not only a world at war, but we're all at war within our own relationships.
Because we all want to be, as we are, powerful.
Right.
It's just
That's
we're
right.
trying to create how that is, and we didn't make ourselves.
Exactly.
And so we haven't sit down long enough for our maker to go, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
that's
whoa.
not power, y'all.
You know, okay.
That's weakness.
So actually, our maker's going, with kind of a chuckle and a laugh and the breath of love, is going, I can see how you could think that you need to prove something, or who would know you have power unless you prove it. And so in your mind, the way to prove it is to go out and to make somebody less powerful.
Right, to take or to attack.
Establish that you have power, you have to demonstrate against something.
That's right.
Where we're going to get a lesson in 101 lovemaking with power tonight.
Exactly. And what real power is. What is real power? What is it that really makes you powerful? You know, we know what we thought made us powerful: guilt, attack, defensiveness. But what really gives you power? And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. What really gives you a sense of power? And we've been talking in the last few weeks about one of the characteristics of the special relationship, or in psychology what we would call an unhealthy relationship, is the relationships of power struggles, power struggles, power struggles, power struggles. That's what they call it.
As a psychiatrist,
yes,
you would, in a relationship counselor, you would definitely know about that.
I at least know what it's called.
What are your sessions about?
Power struggles in relationships.
Right, power struggles.
Power struggles. And that's because both people are like, I want to be the authority. I want to be right. I want to be the one to decide.
I have power.
And exactly.
I'm not
yes,
weak.
Exactly.
I'm going to use you to prove it, girl.
Exactly. I know you are. Think about that. And so, but the result of that idea of power, and then making our relationships a power struggle, thinking, well, if they just acknowledge that I'm right and I'm the best, then I'll be happy. We'll both be happy. We'll be happy ever after. You know, it's not until you realize what true power is that you can go, oh, when I don't defend myself, oh, when I don't oppose, when I don't defend, when I don't try to prove something, oh, that's where my real power comes from. Okay.
But what do you do, hon, when somebody comes at you and they think they have to prove their power?
Yeah, exactly.
And so hopefully we'll hear tonight what to do when they come at you, because just the natural response as we know it, as we've been taught since our birth, is
to defend ourselves.
Defend, okay, be careful.
My power comes in my defense.
Yeah.
My power comes in my defense.
And how do we defend? By firing missiles back to establish the border. You know, keep our defenses.
Well, and to show our power.
When you have a football game, for those of you who ever watch football,
I do.
If I can't break her away from a football game on a good Monday night where we could be sitting here having fun, I don't know. But anyway.
That's my secret.
In football, you know, defense, they're not attacking. They're not throwing the ball down the field. They're not sending their receivers down the field. No, but what they are doing is trying to establish the line that they're at.
Yes, the defensive line.
And so when you bring that ball, they're going to bring an elbow to your jaw. They're going to try and knock you down to the ground because they are defending
That's right.
their territory. And could you, and we're taught, now we're getting ready to hear that, the defense, imagine the coach telling everybody, huddle around. I got a new strategy. We're down, boys. Man, we're hurting. Look at the clock. You know, we got 1 quarter left. We're here in the 11th hour, boys, and we're down. we're not out.
That's right.
So the whole first 3 quarters, you know, we've been doing it to where we've been defending them, you know, knocking them in the ground, tackling them.
A good defense is a good offense.
Yes.
A good offense is a good defense.
And so Bobby here, you know, he came into the huddle before you guys all got together and he said, Coach, let's try something different. I'm not gonna make a change if you don't do a change. Started talking crazy stuff in his head, but it got in my head, boys. So we're gonna go out there this play, and we're gonna run a no defense. We're gonna knock in the
defense.
We're gonna stand
That's
there
crazy.
and just stand there, not even line up, just stand there on their side of the line, looking at them like, what are you guys doing? Just looking at them like crazy, like, what are you guys doing? As they're doing the whole formation, and they start going, and then the people start moving around like they're doing some stuff.
Like
And
they're
then
defending.
and we're all looking at each other and then go, hey Bob, what you doing Friday night? Oh really?
I
You
won't
want
be
to come over
defending.
and have some chicken? What's up, bro? And they're like, hey, look how they're all getting along over there.
They're not defending at all.
They're like they're having fun actually. No defense.
Defense. A no defense. I love it. That's
No
hilarious.
defense. And
A no defense is the best defense.
that's
That's what we're
how
learning here.
that's how untaught we have become. Is we're like, well, that wouldn't work. That's the opposite of what would work.
That's how badly we've been taught.
That's how
When
badly
you hear
we've been
something
taught.
that will work,
will work.
it sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
Sounds crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
And people think you're crazy.
And that's why the Course says that we have gone insane.
Yes, we have. Long
So,
time ago.
Let's wake up and
Okay,
hear the best voice in
so-
America. My baby.
That sounds like a country song, honey.
It is. I'm writing it. I'm slowly writing it out.
Okay.
It's coming to me.
I love it.
I just have to learn
Is
how
that what
to
you've been doing in secret
play
right
the guitar.
now?
I need to get with Jace. Say, Jace, these are the words. Write me a melody, baby. Come on.
He's like, I cannot
And
sing
he'll be
this.
like,
I can't sing this about
Can
Lerner. I'm
people
sorry.
shove each other though while we're singing it?
Stop.
I mean, get some
Stop.
passion
There's
going.
gonna be a mosh pit.
Yeah, could there be
going.
a mosh pit if we're gonna write this song? And I'll be like, yeah, baby.
Sure,
Who doesn't like a
whatever.
mosh pit?
Yeah, love song mosh pit. You know?
Yeah,
That's
we
something
could name
different.
if we write this song. That's gonna be the name.
Love pit.
Mosh.
It'd be mosh
Love
pit.
meets mosh pit.
Yeah.
All
What do you
right.
think, Aria? You think that's a great idea? Aria,
I think
Aria's
I
like,
love it.
yes, sure.
Yeah.
You guys
I love
are.
it.
Yeah.
She's
She's
like,
yeah,
whatever y'all say.
yeah, whatever you say. I don't know.
She's over there protecting spirit from
Yeah.
us, you know. Don't listen to that spirit. Okay, so we are going to talk about real power
Real
and
power.
what is real power, how to manifest real power, what is real power, and which is a good thing to know in a time when you're feeling weak or powerless.
Yes. In case that ever happens.
Yes, just in case that ever comes up where
Yeah.
you're feeling weak or powerless.
This isn't going to apply to most anybody
Of
tonight.
course.
But to the one that it does, if there's just one person out there that
Just one
can relate
person.
to feeling powerless in any situation.
Exactly. If that comes up, then that's when it's good to know what real power is.
Yes.
Okay. So, says,
We're going to read this comment. I can't see
Okay.
it, but, you know,
Yeah,
I picks up
I love
some
it.
good
I
comments
she
all
says, no defense is the best defense. She's quoting you.
the time.
So need to hear more about this because my who is still bruised from being under the bus.
Thrown under the bus.
That's really funny, Irene. I love it. So good to hear more about this because my who is still bruised from being
Yeah.
thrown under the
When
bus.
you're thrown under the bus, you feel like you need to defend.
Exactly.
There's
That's
no-
what we're talking about.
Oh my God.
When you feel like you've been thrown under the bus, you will feel like to be powerful is to defend.
Yes.
That is going to come up.
Yeah, that's gonna
You're
be.
going to go,
that's
power
a
is
given.
I defend myself.
Yeah,
How
come
dare
on
they?
now.
That's not right.
Come on, I need to make it right.
They
at
just
least.
ran over me with a bus.
Yeah, at least let people know the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And and the coach is going, huddle up, girl.
I love girl.
Come on, get in here, girl. Put a helmet on. Nobody knows you're not a boy. You're just like everybody else. Pull up those jeans. Pull up those little pants.
Even the boys are wearing those tight jeans.
Yeah.
So nobody will know.
Everybody has to say, oh, they're all wearing tight pants. They're all the same.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
so,
that's enough. Not just Irene, but all of us.
Okay. Power unopposed. Okay. Real power cannot oppose. Period. So, that's what we want to start with. Real power would never go, oh yeah, well, take this. Real power would never oppose. Real power would never defend. Okay.
I wanted to sing that song at the end, if we could.
What song is that?
Maybe a meditation.
You want to sing a song? You want to sing that for our meditation?
Yeah.
Cool,
No,
okay.
you just sing.
Oh, you want me to sing it? I think we should get Aria to sing it. She's like, that is so 80s. I would never
so
sing.
before
I
my
would
time.
never sing a song like that in public. Okay, so real power cannot oppose.
All right.
Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know about real power. It's not going to fight back.
So if you're opposing, you know you're not using real power.
Exactly. Because opposition would weaken real power. So if real power was like, I'm going to defend myself, you hurt me, you hurt my feelings. If power was to defend itself in opposition, that would really be weakening the power.
And that's exactly what it sounds like in my head. Creepy and irritating.
That's my specialty, baby.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
listen, but because
it's annoying when you feel like you have to defend yourself.
Exactly, and you think about, the Course in Miracles uses the metaphor of the mouse, the mouse defending itself against the universe. You
Right.
know, so it's like it's tiny little squeaky thing,
Right. What a great memory of the Course.
Yeah, it says a mouse defending itself against the universe. Well, that's the way we act. We act like we're as little and powerless as a mouse against the universe, and so whenever somebody opposes us, we're like, oh yeah, we go all kung fu crazy on them.
As if we need to.
As if that makes us powerful, as if that makes me strong.
And as if we need to.
As if I need
because
to. Exactly.
when we do,
Exactly.
what we're going to learn eventually, I don't know if tonight, but eventually we're going to learn that we don't need to do anything because we're not interpreting the situation. The whole situation is being misinterpreted. If you think you have to defend.
Yes.
We're either not recognizing the attacker, the perceived attacker, and their call for, they believe that they deserve punishment, and as they attack, they have no idea that they are literally taking a jackhammer to their own head.
Yeah.
And our resolution has been to, well, let me attack back and take a jackhammer to my own head.
Yeah, that'll show them.
And ask for attack back.
That'll show them.
That's not helping
That's
either
not power.
person. That's not helping nobody. That's just adding a person to the problem. And so we need to sit there and go, okay, we've been doing that for quite a while. So let's sit down and think to ourselves, what can we do
to really be powerful?
To really be powerful.
When you feel weak, when you feel the need to defend yourself because you feel you've been
the temptation.
Yeah, the temptation to defend yourself when you feel you've been wronged. Well, what does real power do? How does real power respond? Well, fake power does what we used to do, which is like, how dare you? I'm going to call my lawyer.
Right.
And my lawyer is bigger and better than your lawyer, so I see you in court.
Yeah.
That's how we responded when we were feeling weak, feeling powerless, thinking that would give us power.
Being tempted to give what we don't want back. That's the whole trick. of the enemy of our soul. If we have an enemy, that's the trick.
That is a trick.
Is to be tempted to give
what you don't
what
want to
I
receive.
don't want. I don't want to attack. So they're attacking themselves.
Yeah, so,
Why would I
what?
want to defend, which would mean to attack them back?
Which means to attack
Why
yourself.
would I want to draw a line in the sand and go, you cross this and we're going to knock you in the jaw? No, I don't want to be knocked in the jaw.
Which is exactly what you will experience.
Yeah, and then you wonder why you
even
can't.
if you feel that it was justified.
Right. But we're like, well, that's insane to think that you just stand there and talk about, you know, the pizza you're going to bake tonight when you get home with the kids, rather than focus on the quarterback getting ready to throw a pass to a man coming in your direction. You need to focus. You need to focus on what's happening, or you're going to get hurt bad. And isn't it funny that we've been following that advice and we keep living a life where we get hurt bad?
Exactly. And then we wonder, why do I always get hurt so bad? You know, is it because I'm a man? Is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm white? What is it? Why is it I keep getting hurt so bad?
Well,
and it's a question that we keep asking. And the reason that we keep getting hurt so bad, according to A Course in Miracles in this section, is that we're misusing our power.
Misusing it.
We are misusing our power.
We're not sharing it.
We're
abusing it.
Exactly.
If we were sharing our power, we would share not doing anything. And then the other team, after they ran the play and the guy runs by you and he grabs and he catches the ball and runs by you and goes, woohoo! And does his little dance in the end zone. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And then they kick the ball to you guys and you all still stand there talking about what you're going to make for dinner. Well, you bringing a pizza or I'm bringing pizza? I don't care who brings the pizza as long as we have Doritos. And they're like, we just kicked the ball to them and they just still stood there.
And then they won.
And then they won. And then everybody goes,
like,
well, what's there to celebrate?
Confused.
What's there to celebrate? They're not doing anything. So what you want? This is boring. What else you got to entertain us with?
How about some violence on the nightly news?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, if we don't have that, let's have something else.
Because if it bleeds, it leads. So
I'll tell you
you
what,
can find some of that on your nightly news.
The reason we all go, well, yeah, what would be after that if there wasn't football?
And also if we weren't defending ourselves. You know, if we weren't defending ourselves, then, you know, like we were talking with Jace, and we were talking about how insane our military industrial buildup of defenses, and how literally our defense has become that which is killing us and the planet. Yeah, our defensiveness is literally killing our children and killing our planet. And Jace was very, very intelligent. He says, but when you say that to people, when you say, you know, we don't need a military. We don't need a military to defend us. We don't need we don't need our kids to go kill your kids for us to be safe. He said, when you say that and you say, you know, draw down the military, we don't need that, then they tell themselves they're not safe from, you know, the world.
But
and, yet
we're still being killed.
Exactly. We're not safe at all.
Yeah.
We're the opposite of safe because of how much we've been attacking.
We hired
the
them
children
so that
of
our
other
children
people.
would be safe.
Right.
But yet we send them there, and if they don't get killed,
our children.
Then, you know.
Yeah.
If they don't get
their
killed,
bodies don't get killed.
If they just killed other people, you know, they didn't get killed, just other people's kids got killed. Then they come home, as my son did.
They come psychologically killed.
And his brain was dead.
Psychologically killed.
If
they're not physically killed, they're psychologically
tormented.
Yes.
For what he experienced.
Exactly.
As any child should be.
Amen.
Or would be.
Any creation of God, you know, that would be traumatizing. What our defensiveness, what our use of power, what our power What our defensiveness is doing is destroying the planet, either murdering our children's bodies or their minds.
And we pay for
And
the
that's
military.
our version of power.
And we pay for the military. This isn't a political speech. This is just reality. We pay for it's reality of what happens when you defend.
Yes. That's
Of
right.
when you're convinced that you need to defend.
Which is the wrong use of
This
power.
is the path that you go down.
Yeah.
Is, okay, so we need to defend. Let's get a military, let's get all the tanks and missiles and blah, blah, blah.
Wrong use of power.
Let's spend a large portion of our sweat and labor
Absolutely.
and resources and time to make all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when there's an issue, let's send our kids over to their kids' neighborhoods and kill their kids to settle the issues. And all this nonsense that goes on with it.
Yeah.
And it's the reality of what happens, though, when you choose defense.
As
Which
your power.
Which they talk us into saying, well, we need to defend ourselves.
If you want to be powerful.
And think about it. To show you how ingrained this has been since your birth, think about not having a military. You're like, oh, well, we couldn't have that.
Oh my God.
Couldn't have that.
Nowadays, if you say that, they will cancel your channel.
Well, not only that, if you're on YouTube.
And Facebook.
Yeah, eventually. Not only that, but, because you're not a patriot.
Yes.
And everybody knows to be a patriot, you have to believe in war.
Exactly.
But anyway, we're going to come back to more loving and praiseworthy thoughts. Because I can see where my mind is going right now. I'm going to need to be doing some Spirit, show me another way to look at this. Why do we have to act like insane people?
This is the perfect section for that, because this is a section that's telling us what real power does.
Right.
And so you and me are supposed to remember what real power does, because for the sake of those who are misusing power, thinking power is murdering and war, and that we have to remember that for our brothers and sisters who think that power comes from war.
Right.
The power comes from taking.
Right.
No.
From conquering.
Yeah, from conquering, from using, from taking, from attacking.
Power is establishing your
dominance.
Victor. Yeah, thank you. That's the perfect word.
Yes.
You're dominant over another.
Yes.
Like that's what love would do, is to dominate over you. When love says, no, I'll come when you give me an invitation.
I'll choose
you
second
send me
place.
an invite, I'll come.
Right there.
But I'm patient, number one, until you invite me. I'm cool.
Yeah, we're good.
I can come over and rustle your feathers. What you're doing.
Exactly.
I'm love.
Exactly.
I'm patient. But I'll tell you what, you give me an invitation and you'll see me at your
Then
front
you
doorstep.
see some real power.
That's right.
Then you'll see some real power.
And if you attack me, I tell you what, I don't need to attack back.
I'll just receive back.
I'll just recognize what you're doing to yourself and think,
and pray for you.
My.
And pray for you.
How can I possibly help them to stop attacking themselves?
Exactly.
What's any
what
measure?
Would love do?
Any measure that I can do to help them to stop attacking themselves back, and to constantly now put on my guard to not attack myself back while I'm doing it.
Very good.
That's the warrior of warriors.
Amen to that. Now that's what true power does, and that's what true power knows. That's what true power does, and that's what true power knows.
Right.
No. And we are entering the season of Scorpio. And
I didn't know that.
Yes, well,
for real.
Yes, for real. I mean, well,
come on. Everything we've been talking about.
A minute after you were born, it's Scorpio season.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes, and so.
So why wouldn't I know that?
Yeah, and
that's why I'm married to you, because I'm like, I don't have to use my brain a lot now. I know. I'm just like,
that's so
hey,
very
baby.
I love it. You don't have to use your brain as much.
The course said I don't need to do anything, and I took that pretty serious. Could you use my brain for me?
Absolutely.
And you do so
no
good.
way, yes.
And think about it. I would only do that with somebody that I trusted.
Absolutely.
I would not
Scorpio
give
person that you
my
are.
brain
That's
to
for damn sure.
nobody that I didn't trust.
Scorpio that you are. 5 planets of Scorpio.
You
I know
were put
you
in the
wouldn't.
fire and tried and tested.
I was.
Before I would give you my brain.
I know.
So I could just relax and go, baby, you just
No.
tell me.
Just tell me.
And
Exactly.
I know it'll be good.
Just tell me what the Course says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
So power
So
can't
real
oppose.
power cannot oppose. So real power doesn't fight back and oh yeah, I raise your defense 20 times. And that's because opposition would weaken true power.
Make it weaker.
And weakened power is a contradiction in ideas. How can it be weak and also powerful? That's a contradiction. They don't go together.
Nope.
In other words, weak strength, that's a totally meaningless concept. And power used to weaken is power employed to limit. So that's the misuse of power. You know, the misuse of power is I use my power to limit. No. And unfortunately, that's what we do in our unhappy special relationships is we employ our power to limit.
Yep.
I know I have some power over you and I'm going to limit you.
To make less.
Exactly.
Less powerful.
Exactly.
That's
We're gonna see who wears the pants around here.
Yeah, that's the only way I
Is
can
it you
demonstrate
or
I
me?
have power.
Exactly.
And again, I want to say real quick, in our nature, it's okay to feel powerful because we are powerful.
We were created by power.
It's just we're trying to experience it in a way that's not natural.
It's not real power.
It's not real power.
It's not real power.
It's an illusion of power.
It's weakness.
And to see who wears the pants in the family is a power that is so far less settling in exchange for the real power that we possess.
Exactly.
It's a bad trait. It's a horrible trait.
Yes, it is.
But we keep going for it because we've been taught, and that's another emphasis. We're not bad people. We're not evil
not
people.
at all.
We've just been taught so bad.
Badly.
That's what's bad.
We've been taught badly.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
that's the bad. It's not us, it's the teaching that's bad.
That we've been taught. And so what I was saying is that we're now in Scorpio season.
Yeah.
And Scorpio is so very much about what is power and what's the right use of power.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, is power control or is power something else?
I see.
And that's the lesson of Scorpio. And here
Say
we are.
that again. Is power
Is power control or is power something else?
Or is power something else?
Yes.
Is
Real
power what I've been taught to try to control the situation?
Exactly.
Try to control the argument.
Try to control the relationship.
To win the debate.
Try to control the relationship.
Yeah, to try to dictate rather than to share calmly, easily, romantically share. A universal sharing of
Of power.
Okay.
Exactly.
And it's not easy right now because we've been so programmed, so conditioned on the other way of doing it.
We've been so conditioned and brainwashed to believe that we're powerless and that the only way to have power is to take it, is to fight, is to oppose. We've learned that we're powerless, and the only way to get power is to oppose someone, something. Oppose. You know, power comes from opposing something. I oppose that idea. I oppose your plan. We believe power comes from I oppose you. I oppose that. Right? That's what we learned. We're powerless, and that power comes from opposing something. And what we're hearing here is that real power, true power, does not oppose anything.
No.
It doesn't fight anything. It doesn't defend itself. It doesn't fight against anything.
Makes more sense why the Course says, I need do nothing.
Exactly. That's what true power says.
Right.
True power says, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to defend myself. I don't need to, fight to prove something. Why would I do that?
If God
That's what
was,
true power says.
if God was in the form of a body, you know, like God wasn't spirit,
Right.
and God was just sitting on a throne with God's legs crossed up there, just sitting there eating some cashews, and then we'd come up and start throwing some banana peels at God and slinging some accusation, and God's just sitting there.
Oh, my child.
Yeah, not
oh,
doing
my
nothing.
children.
Not doing nothing.
Not defending.
Because the whole universe knows who would fight God.
Mm-hmm.
Who would win?
Mm-hmm.
Who would win that battle? Who would win that argument?
Mm-hmm.
And so God knows that. If you know that, God knows that. And God's sitting there in the laughter of God's own breath, just watching this maniac.
Call for love.
Yeah. thinking that they're going to get power by acting the exact opposite.
By attacking.
That the established law of order of power is established by, which is just to be.
Mm-hmm. Real power can't be attacked. And so real power isn't concerned about whether people see it correctly, like it, don't like it, attack, don't attack. Real power is not concerned at all about that. It's not a concern that somebody doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, real power isn't concerned that somebody's like, that's not true. Say your name, demon. No, true power is not concerned.
No.
At all.
It's concerned for them.
It's like, oh, they're hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Poor
Aww.
dear. Poor dear.
Child.
Poor child. Let me guide my responses, like you said, so that they will hurt themselves less in their attack on me.
Does somebody have a straight jacket that we might help them to not hurt themselves? They're going to see that as an attack as we're trying to put it on them.
Yes. Well, that's what real power says and does. And that's what this section is about. You know, what does real power know and what does real power do? And when you're feeling weak and powerless and tempted to do a show of strength, you know, and power, what is it that you can do instead to access real power?
Right.
How do you access real power in a situation where you feel weak and tempted to attack for power? You know, what do you do? So, it says, weak strength is meaningless, which means power used to weaken is employed to limit. So if you're going to use your power to limit someone else, if you're going to use your power to give them guilt, then your so-called power really must be limited and actually weak. Because weakening is the purpose of the attack.
Right.
Wow, so if you're using your power to limit somebody else, then you're not really exercising power. What you are exercising is weakness.
Yeah, like the football player comes across the line when the ball snaps, and you're not just standing there watching what they're doing, not defending, but yet you go to block, to weaken what they're doing. Once you take action to weaken what they're doing,
you're weakened.
You're weakening yourself and don't realize it, because you don't realize in that act of to give weakening, you are asking for to give weakening.
You're asking for weakening.
You don't even realize what you're doing. Now you're falling into their own trap. Is to give what you don't want.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why you don't want to defend in a way that you don't want to receive.
Exactly. You don't want to defend yourself in a way, in a manner that you wouldn't like somebody to react to you.
No.
So think about that as you're reacting to them and defending yourself against what they said or did that feels unjustified to you. Think about that. You know, how would true power respond? How would true power respond? Would true power go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you. I know where you live." Would true power? Is that how true power
And
would?
I love how you can say it like kind of a mouse. Like that picture you gave with the little mouse.
Yes.
And picture a little mouse like a little toothpick
Yes,
as it
exactly.
soared against the universe.
Yes. I'm gonna get you. Would is that how true power would respond to that threat? Would true power go, "I'm gonna get you, how dare you, don't you know who I am?"
And as it's doing, it's literally setting itself on fire.
Literally.
It's literally weakening its own military.
Exactly. Its own
by engaging.
Exactly. And defending itself.
Right.
And so you have to ask yourself, how would true power respond?
Right.
Let's say, somebody broke your heart and they left you and they ran off with somebody else, and you're like, wanting to murder. You have to ask yourself, how would true power respond?
Right.
How would true power respond right now?
Well, I wouldn't want to give myself what they just gave themselves. Boy, howdy. To abandon somebody, to leave somebody, and now they're asking for an experience to experience that themselves. Whew.
Yeah.
No, because I know what it feels like, and they just ask for this.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
That's what true power knows.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And that's what goes into the thinking behind true power. So true power is like, I know that, and so I'm going to choose to respond with compassion and mercy.
Yeah. Or something that I want.
Yeah, which is compassion and mercy.
Yeah, or it would be better to do nothing.
Definitely not to defend oneself.
Yeah, don't start giving what you don't want.
Exactly.
That's the big temptation in the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's the big temptation. And listen up. If you don't do nothing, when you should be giving kindness, mercy, compassion, love, and all of those
realizing
things.
you're giving it to yourself,
right?
Then
if you were in their shoes, that's what you would hope to receive. If you were them, what would you hope to receive back? And so you're cutting the curse. You're cutting it.
That's right. Cutting the curse.
So what do you want back? But rather than to get into that.
Okay.
Because we're only in the first paragraph.
Wow. Yeah.
But we did start at 20 after-ish.
Yes.
So
we did.
I guess we got plenty of time.
Well, that's what you always tell me.
Yeah, to ramble as we want.
I got time to ramble.
And I got time to talk. If you got time to walk.
Exactly. But true power is unopposed to be true power. So if something is true power, it can't be opposed.
Nope.
True power can't be opposed.
Well, I like
you
that.
can't oppose me. That's why I'm true power. So if something can be opposed, it must not be true power.
Right.
So if something seems to be opposing you and hurting you, and you feel hurt by it, then you're not experiencing true power.
Right.
Okay.
You're giving it power.
Exactly, because true power cannot be opposed.
That it doesn't have.
Exactly.
And boy, it's hard to remember that when all those emotions come in.
Sure is.
All of that looping the story, you can't stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh.
It really is hard to remember that.
It really is
when
hard.
You're triggered.
Yeah, I mean this.
When you feel weak.
These words might as well be, in another country, in another language somewhere.
Yes.
Because when all of that comes rushing in.
Yes.
And that's why it's so critical to not be, a once in a while student. To be coming in to your own, really. Right now, to be coming into your own is a good season to be coming into for what the world's going into, which is going to seem like there needs to be a lot of defense.
Absolutely. Where you're going to feel very weak and powerless.
And if we can't get it right now, the test is ramping up. It's increasing to feel like you got to defend. You got to defend. Oh, now I got to defend here. Now I got to defend here. Now
Yes.
here.
Look how powerless we are.
Yeah.
We have to defend. And like Greg is saying, that we are coming into a season when there is going to be great temptation to feel weak and powerless, and that we must defend ourselves in order to have any power in the situation where we feel very powerless. And so these are the days where we need to know what is true power. What brings true power? How can I access true power when I need it?
Yeah.
When I need it. And this, of Course in Miracles, is telling us that there is a way to access real power in any situation, where you experience a power that can't be opposed.
Because the honest truth of it, and I'm a testimony of it, is if we don't get our households right, if we don't get our singular relationships right, we are not fit to get the world right. We're not fit to get our communities right. We're not fit to get our towns and our cities right, and our governments and our communities, because we're not right. We have to sit down and get serious individually with just the one person that we've been put in relationship with in the moment that we're in that relationship with in our day, and apply it to that, and to them, and to learn it through them, and to thank them that they came along on such a small level in retrospect to what's coming down to teach us a simple lesson that we need to learn, so that when the great comes along, we're great and ready to be handling the great.
Amen.
We're not still stuck at home trying to get along with one person when we got the whole world to get along with.
No, yes.
Note to
Preach
self.
it. Note to self.
And I'm saying that, as I said at the beginning, because I'm a testimony of it. I know what's going on because I'm doing it. I'm struggling to have a relationship with Anna, with the people that I live with the people that I show up with in my day, because I think I need to have the power. I need to, have the power.
To be safe.
And really, we're all struggling with the same thing. But come on, let's go there. Let's start looking at these relationships through our day, going, okay, I see what you're doing. all right. I want to be kings and queens over cities and nations, but
I get it.
I
I
can't
want the
get
power
this one little person in my day here straight.
to submit to my power.
Yeah, I can't get it to where I can just lay down my own life and go, okay, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I don't even know. I have to do so little that I can just sit back, like I call on Anna to use my brain, and call on Spirit to use my brain in that moment, and say, Spirit, I tell you what, all I want to do is when they hike the ball, I want to tackle the quarterback. And Spirit go, no, let's just, you and I.
Forget about the
don't even look
football
over there.
metaphors.
Look at me. Look at me the other way. Look over here at me and just listen to me. And then the plays being run, you're seeing players run by you, and you're, I gotta go like a dog. I gotta go get them like a bone. And Spirit's teaching you. It feels so hard at first.
Yes.
Feels so hard at first.
So to learn what real power says and does.
Right.
At first, it's like, no, real power is I defend myself, and I defend myself. I show them who is in control. At first, it's so difficult to let go of our concepts of what it means to be safe. It's like, we all want power because we think power, if I had the power, I'd be safe. Yeah. We all want the power because we think, well, if I had power, I'd be safe.
Right.
And so that's what's behind all of our power struggles.
Exactly.
It's like, I want to feel safe. and you want to feel safe. That's what's behind all the power. If I don't have the power, then I'm a victim, and I don't have any power. If I don't have any power, then someone can take advantage of me.
I feel vulnerable.
I'm totally vulnerable. If they have the power over me, I'm totally vulnerable. You know, and
Who
so
likes that feeling?
nobody wants to be like that. Nobody wants to be taken advantage of like that and used
or
like
to
that.
feel that you
To
could be.
feel that way.
Just
Oh
the
my
feeling
God, that's
is-
the worst. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's the ultimate of feeling powerless,
Yeah.
which is also the ultimate in feeling worthless.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not until we know the truth about power, what is real power, that we can ever have a relationship where we're not hurting each other, thinking that that makes us safe. You know, in our personal relationships or in our global relationships. I gotta hurt you in order to be safe. You know, we gotta hurt China in order to be safe. We gotta hurt blah 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 in order to be safe. You know, so until I know the real what is real power, I'm going to be misusing my power over you.
Mm-hmm. And yourself.
And myself. Exactly.
Note to self.
Exactly.
Yourself. And your power is needed. My power is needed. Our power is needed in the world right now.
Right
and
now,
we're
in particular.
sitting around on some park bench in Park Avenue, parking our you know what, not demonstrating power. Nobody sees it because very few are doing it. Very few are using it. And I'm one of the few not using it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to really develop it because that power is going to be needed, needed greatly by the few that are exercising and learning to develop it.
In these days.
In these days.
In these days. The Course in Miracles calls it the Great Awakening.
Yeah, it's
Course in Miracles has a name for it.
It's not a scary time, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a day of rejoicing, in my opinion. This is a day of shouting, finally.
Course in Miracles refers to what's happening as the Great Awakening.
Yeah.
Others refer to what's going on now as the apocalypse and, you know,
the end of days.
End of days and,
you know what the end of days are? The end of days are when we don't do this stupid and
same thing over and over.
Over and over for who knows how long.
That's when Groundhog Day
like
ends.
A broken clock is stuck on the same time.
I love it.
And we move on. We move on to what is real, what is happening, what is going on.
Isn't that interesting? What is real?
Mm-hmm.
And then right now, you know, there's a big thing in the world, Israel.
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 Oh my.
Mm-hmm. What is real?
Yeah, what is real?
Is our need to defend ourselves with attack to have power, is that real? Is it real that to have real power we must attack those who are a part of ourselves? Is that real? Is that true?
Is it real to amass
to amass a large defense as a way to have safety?
Just ask.
Well, that is what we're playing out not only in our personal relationships, but in our planet. We do believe that in order to be safe, we must amass a large arsenal of defense.
Right.
A way to defend ourselves that is ironclad, iron dome.
Somebody has to be weak
for another person to be strong. And that is what we've learned about how to be safe in days like this, in times like this, where it's very easy to feel helpless and powerless. All right. Well, so what did it say? It said, power is unopposed to be power. Power is unopposed to be powerful. So if a power can be opposed, it's not power.
Right.
So a power that you got to worry about, like, oh, what if they hurt us? What if they mount a defense against us? Oh no, that's not real power. Power cannot be opposed. And so what that means is no weakness can intrude upon real power without changing real power to something that real power is not, which is real power is not weak. Real power cannot be opposed. To weaken is to limit. And to weaken is to impose an opposite that contradicts the concept it attacks. And, yes, and by its contradiction, does it join the idea to the idea of something that it is not, and it makes it unintelligible. For instance, who can understand a double concept such as a weakened power or a hateful love? Who can understand a double concept like?
Yeah, contradiction.
It's a or like an oxymoron.
It's a contradiction of itself.
Right. Combination of two opposites, like family vacation. You know, who can understand a double concept such as weakened power, where it's including two things that are opposite that cancel each other out, like a weakened power or a hateful love. Okay, that can't be understood. That's a term, it's an oxymoron where each parts of that term cancel each other out.
Yeah, how can it be hate and how can it be love?
Exactly.
Hateful love?
How can it be powerful but also
is
be
it
weakened?
love or hate? What is it?
How can
Can't
it be
both.
powerful but yet it can be weakened at the same time? Right. How can it be love but it's also hateful? Okay. That's what we call a double concept. And the truth is that a double concept cannot be really understood because it's a meaningless concept. For instance, you have decided that your brother or sister is a symbol for a hateful love. That's right. We have decided that our brothers and sisters are a symbol for a, quote, weakened power. And we have decided that they are a symbol for a living death. And so others, you know who, has no meaning to you because others stand for what is meaningless. They represent a double thought where half is canceled out by the remaining half. Yet even this is quickly contradicted by the half it canceled out, and so they both are gone. Okay. So what?
No, that made total sense.
Yeah. And so this is our picture of them. This is our picture of others. This is how we see others. We see them as, I love you, but I hate you. And so a hateful love.
Yeah.
Two things that don't go together.
And we see them as one day that they are loved. That they're loving, they're kind, they're peaceful, they're beautiful. And the next day, we see them,
love.
And they're not love.
They're hate.
They're hate.
They're hate.
They're bad.
They're hate, and they justify your hate.
And so they're all the opposites. And so we see both of the same things in the other. And we don't even realize that in itself, by the nature of law, cancels them both out. You can't have white and black. You can have black.
You can't have hate and love.
But you can have white. But you gotta choose.
Right.
What is it? One or the other, black and white. That's why they say things are, to him, everything's black and white. In other words, it's not in the middle. It's this way or it's that way.
Right.
Either they are love.
Or they are hate.
Or they are hate. And that's what you have to come down to decide.
Exactly. And as long as you see them as both lovable and hateful, what it's going on to say is that you don't see them at all. You don't see who they really are. You don't even know who they are.
Nope.
Because that they be a hateful love, that didn't even make sense. And so if you see them, though, as all hateful and lovable, you don't see them at all. So that's what it's saying. The picture of others that you see doesn't mean anything. The picture you see of those people that you love but you're irritated by, picture you see of them doesn't mean anything.
And your true self, your true natured self, sees them canceled out, and
Yes.
they become totally meaningless to you.
Exactly.
Because they're a meaningless thing, because
Mhm.
your true self knows you can't have two of the same.
Or the opposites at the same time.
Right.
You know? And so now you're not having a real relationship.
Because they're meaningless.
Because who you see them as is completely meaningless. It's not who they are. And so now you're not going to be having a real relationship with them. And then of course you'll blame it on them.
Right.
But the problem was you do not see who they really are, because you see them as a hateful love. And then that's completely meaningless, so they cancel each other out, so now you don't see them at all.
So you're really having a relationship with nothing.
Except your fantasy.
Your fantasy.
That's all you're having a relationship with, is
Not
your,
accomplishing
not the other person. There's no joining happening. There's one of us or both of us are having a relationship with a fantasy of the other person. And then we go, why am I not satisfied? Why are they like that? Why am I so, blah, blah, blah. When you find yourself irritated a lot because you're having a relationship with them, a person that's not them. And they're having a relationship with you, that's not them. And then we go, oh, why are the relationships so hard? Oh, why does love hurt so bad? Love hurts. Yeah. When this is what you are calling love.
Right.
Then love hurts.
Yep.
Okay. So it says symbols.
So first we start out, just real quick, we start out just two basic simple concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Number one,
Mm-hmm.
when they come to attack, at least what I'm hearing, when they come to, I perceive they're attacking me,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to, number one, remember true power doesn't defend.
Hallelujah.
And then number two,
Mm-hmm.
the second step in my slowing down, I just took one step, come to a stop, take another step
Mm-hmm.
before we go on.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I cannot see them truly
Mm-hmm.
if I see them as both lovable and hate.
Ooh.
And so if I don't see them truly,
Mm-hmm.
then how can I possibly truly respond?
Logically respond.
Right.
Appropriately respond.
Yeah, well, if I'm not seeing them real,
Mm-hmm.
then I can't make a real response.
Exactly.
I'm making
An inappropriate response.
Inappropriate response because I'm not seeing them
Mhm, as they are.
as they are.
And that's what's going on.
And when I defend, boy, right there, you might as well drop out of school because you've already forgot the first step.
Exactly. That's right.
You can't defend because in that not defend time is a great time, by the way, to stop and ask your coach for the next play.
And your coach is your higher self.
Right.
Your
Your
loving
higher
right
loving
mind,
self.
the divine spark that lives within you, that our Creator put within us when we decide to run away from home.
Right.
You know, internal GPS, God positioning satellite, Holy Spirit. That's the time to turn to the Holy Spirit, you know, and wait and ask before you respond.
Mm-hmm.
Before you respond.
Yeah.
Before you're attempting to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be powerful, I need to defend myself. To be powerful. And if I don't defend myself, then I will be weak. You know, and then I won't be safe.
And, you know, I'm not there by any means, but what's helping me tremendously is Spirit's been giving me the eyes to see more and more often that this person is attacking themselves. And they're doing it because they've learned a belief system that taught them to abuse themselves.
To be safe.
To be safe. And, you know, the abuser doesn't have to abuse the person anymore when they take over the job of abusing themselves.
That's right. That's right.
And so
That's
when
right.
you recognize this person as been somebody that's been under abuse since their birth,
Yeah.
they've been under abuse, and you're the person that they sent into the house to meet with this person that's been brainwashed and severely abused since their birth.
You're the deprogrammer.
And boy, they're not in their right mind.
At all. Imagine.
And they reach out to attack you, and you know they're only doing it because of their conditioning. You will have a totally different outlook on this person, but you'll know the true nature of this person isn't weak. You'll know that their true nature is they're strong. They've just been conditioned to be weak right now. It took time to get them to the state of weakness.
Yes.
And that's what makes us super champions as we come into the scene. We've been called in because other people haven't been trained yet in the art of it, dealing with the abused, the neglected,
The insane.
which
is most everybody, P.S.
the bruised,
which is everybody,
and
all humans.
And to come in and to be the doctor and say, all right, let's see what the situation would got here. You think they're going to send in a doctor that does leg surgery? No, they're going to send in somebody that works on the mind, because that's where the person has been traumatized.
Psychic surgery.
Yeah, they're going to send that person in because they know that's the only help that person can get. And here you are on the scene, and what are you going to do?
And they know that that's what they need. They need healing at the mind level, you know, in order to have healing on the physical level. You know, that all healing begins with the mind, according to A Course in Miracles.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, they start with the healing of the mind, and which is healing of guilt. You know.
Yeah, the Course talks about don't try to change the world, but how you look at the world.
Change
how
your mind about the world. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay. All right. We still have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, it says, so we're in paragraph 2, and when you're looking at another person and you're looking at them as a hateful love, you're seeing
half
them.
and half.
You're seeing them as love and also hate. Now that person stands for nothing to you. Now that person stands for nothing to you. Because symbols which but represent ideas which cannot be must stand for empty space and nothingness. So if you see that person as standing for nothing, then all you are perceiving is empty space and nothing. If you're not seeing that person as they are, then you are perceiving empty space, nothingness. If you're not seeing that person as they are, then you're just seeing empty space.
Right.
What does it mean if I don't see my brother and sister as they really are? It means you're not seeing anything.
Right.
Okay, you're seeing nothingness. You're seeing empty space.
You're seeing a false interpretation.
That's all you're seeing. Empty space. And then he asks a question, what can interfere with the awareness of reality is the belief that there is something there in how you see your brother and sister. You know, what can interfere with the awareness of reality is the belief that there is something there in what you're seeing, in the empty space and the nothingness that you're seeing in them.
And that's how the body appears.
And that's how the body appears.
Because part of the half and half that we're seeing that cancels it all out, but yet we still believe we're seeing something. The body is what, as it says, a symbol.
Yes.
That's how we see everything. It's symbols. We see the body, and the symbol of the body is it's born, it has life, and it dies also.
Sure does. Real soon.
So we see.
Sometimes sooner for others than you know.
So we see in the body both life
and
death. So we
Good
see
and
that
bad.
which cancels each other out.
Exactly.
So spiritually speaking, we don't see anything there. We're blind. The canvas is wiped out because it cancels each other out. You can't have life and death. You can have one or the other, but you can't have both.
And if you're trying to see both at the same time, you see nothing.
You can't have sin and no sin. You can't have innocence and guilt. You can't have the opposites
together and see correctly what's there.
You can't have light and dark. Opposites are opposites. They have no union. That's what makes them opposites.
That's why you can only see one or the other.
But when we're seeing both,
you don't see anything
at all.
It cancels itself out. It's like you don't see anything.
And yet you react as if you're seeing something because you believe it.
That's for sure.
This body
that's for sure.
And then you react. And that's why you don't see them. Imagine the day when you can see them. When the body literally disappears and you see them truly for the first time because you don't see opposites.
Wow.
Imagine, because you've trained yourself and you've decided, I'm tired of living this old life of limit, of one day I'm happy and the other day I'm not. One day I'm on top and the other day I'm getting run over.
And if they're in a bad mood, I have to be in a bad mood.
Yeah, of good and bad, of sharing the space with the opposites of what we've been given. And who wants to settle for so much less than when we don't have to? We don't have to settle for opposites. We don't have to settle for less.
And opposites that cancel each other out, so that we experience nothing.
Right.
We don't have to. We don't have to settle for that.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And we have the power, talking about power, to be a part of that change with spirit. So I want to do that change.
I would like to change my mind.
Yeah, I'd like to change the way I see people.
Exactly.
I'd like to see them truly. I'd like to see Anna as the radiant, spotless, beaming light, brightness that she is, with not one blemish, not one, opposite of any tangible remaining residue of nonsense left.
Not one yes but.
Yeah. And boy, how.
And then you see your Savior, and it'll be the happiest, most profound, beautiful thing you ever saw.
I will tell you.
And the most satisfying thing you ever saw when you see your brother or sister correctly, as they are, is better than all the other stuff you've done before to have a good time. So.
And you didn't have to have a hangover in the morning.
And you didn't have to have a hangover, and it didn't cost a lot of money, and it was legal. Thank God for that. For now.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? For now?
You might get to where you have to pick a side with a gun next to your head. Pick a side.
Pick a side. Love or fear. Pick a side. Love or fear.
Hate them and love us.
Exactly. Well, okay, so I'll just finish. We didn't finish 2. I'll just finish 2 and then we'll stop there.
Probably a good time.
Perfect. Okay. So, maybe I'll just start. I'm just going to start at the beginning of 2. Will be a recap of all that we've just been talking about.
Beautiful.
And then we'll finish with that. You have decided that they are a symbol for a hateful love or a weakened power. And above all, you have decided that they are a symbol of a living death. And so they, they have no meaning to you because they're standing for what's meaningless. They're representing a double thought where half is canceled out by the remaining half, yet even this remaining half is quickly contradicted by the half that it canceled out. And so both of what you saw in them are gone. And now this person stands for nothing to you. Symbols which but represent ideas which cannot be. These symbols must stand for empty space and nothingness. Yet nothingness and empty space cannot be interference. What can interfere with the awareness of reality is only the belief that there is something else there besides reality. That is the only thing that can interfere with the awareness of reality, is the belief that there's something besides reality out there. That's the only thing that can interfere with your awareness of reality, is a belief that there is something else out there besides reality, besides love.
Hey, can you read 3 as the passage you did too?
Sure. Is that a dare?
Yep.
All right. The picture of them that you see means nothing. How you see them, the picture you see of them means nothing. There is nothing to attack in how you see them. There is nothing to deny in what you see in them. There's nothing to love in what you see of them. There's nothing to hate in what you see of them. There is nothing to endow with power or to see as weak in how you see them. The picture that you see in them has been completely canceled out, because the picture you see in them symbolized a contradiction, which canceled out the thought that that picture represents. And thus the picture you see of them has no cause at all. Who can perceive effect without a cause? What can the causeless be but nothingness? What does that mean? That means the picture of them that you see is completely absent, and the picture you see of them has never been. What you see in them, never been. How you see them, never been. Let then the empty space your picture of them occupies be recognized as vacant, and recognize that the time you've devoted to the seeing of your picture of them be perceived as time idly spent, a time unoccupied.
And that's why I wanted to finish just this part here, because we didn't want to leave thinking, well, I just need to pick then the good and leave out the other half, the bad. No, we're being asked to just erase the whole chalkboard. Spirit's going to start all over, because our good is in definition to, well, they could be bad. Right. That's where our good comes from.
Yeah, that's our perception of their good.
Is that
it's in relation to their bad.
It could have an opposite.
Right.
If they behave differently.
Which they do.
Then they would not be good no more. They can change.
Not today.
And so our version of good and bad has to be totally taken off the chalkboard. We need to make this space that our teacher is asking us to make as vacant. We need to just clean the whole room out back to empty in order for our teacher to be able to go back up to the chalkboard and go, okay, now pay attention.
Exactly. And so what the practical application of that I hear is that when I'm in conflict with you and misperceiving you, and having a concept about you that I'm looking at, and I'm paying the price because I don't feel good about it, that what I hear it saying is that I need to say, the picture that I have of Greg right now does not exist.
Right. Totally.
I do not know who and what Greg is right now, and the picture I have of Greg does not exist
at all.
At all. Not
even some of
Not one iota of it. Not even like, yeah, well, you know he's like that.
Well, but this part is true.
Exactly. Everybody knows that about Greg, right?
I'm not totally an idiot at what I'm looking at.
I'm not totally projecting. And so what I hear it saying is that I have to say, whatever time I am devoting to this image of Greg that I am making and crafting in my mind, whatever time I'm devoting to creating this idea of Greg in my mind, he's this, he's that, he's this, and he's that. Whatever time I've devoted to that today, it has been time that was completely idly spent. total waste of time. That was time, that was an empty space that I did not fill. It was an unused interval of time that was not fully occupied, and definitely it wasn't a silent invitation to truth. That whatever time I'm spending working on my concept of Greg, why he is the way he is a time completely unused, not well spent, wasted.
It did nothing and it accomplished
It
nothing.
did nothing and accomplished nothing. It just wasted my time. I could have been doing something productive and creative and loving and kind and helpful. I could have cleaned the bathroom. But no. I was sitting there, weaving my concept of what Greg is and who he is and why he did what he did and who he is, and and it was a total waste of time. A time spent for nothing. So that's the practical application. So.
Yep.
So what's the practical application? Okay, I'm tempted to see Greg, see somebody in a relationship as a hateful love, and I'm really tempted to believe that my picture of them, even though it's opposites and it cancels each other out, I'm tempted to believe that's the truth and be upset. What should I do? I'm supposed to now realize that the picture I see of them, it has never been,
right,
is an empty space, vacant, and time idly spent.
Yep.
That's what I'm supposed to remember.
And to remember right away not to defend, because that's
and
the
don't
big,
defend.
That's the big temptation.
That's the big one.
And then
that's the big one.
Yep.
That's the big one. So don't defend. Try to resist the temptation to defend yourself, thinking that gives you power. And then tell yourself that however I'm seeing them right now is meaningless. I do not see who they really are. I don't know who they really are. I do not know who they really are right now. And don't defend.
Mm-hmm.
Which means don't attack back in your perception.
Right. Clear the slate.
Exactly. I do not know who Greg is. I do not know what the meaning of Greg is. I do not know who Greg is. I do not know who he is right now. So whatever I'm seeing of Greg is nothingness. It's a blank slate.
If anything, as course students will learn, is we don't know anything. That's our greatest power, is when we come into recognition.
True power.
I don't know what the meaning of this.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit, what's the meaning of this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get information that I didn't used to have because I asked.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another repeat of a demonstration of how much we are dependent on our Maker for guidance right now, because we've gone so far off of the train track into our own hell of oblivion that we need help back. We desperately need help back in all matters, and in especially our relationships. And when we're in that relationship and we're wanting to defend, we're wanting to, recognize them as two personalities.
Hate and love.
Hate and love.
Equally.
Or life and death. This person can live and die.
Savior or executioner.
Yeah. They're the ultimate Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Exactly.
God or Creator.
That's what we all think about our partners.
Creator, God, whatever name you like to use, the universe brought this person forth as a whole individual, not two different split personalities, not good and bad, things that can't even exist in one, but only one. And it's going to be a wonderful day when we see our brothers and sisters truly. Because it'll be a day where we don't see what we've ever seen before, because we're not making exceptions anymore. We're not cutting the pie up and making it not whole. And we're not wasting our time doing nonsense, ridiculous nothing, when we could be creating the good, the beautiful, and the whole, the holy. So, hey.
Amen to that.
All right, so what, Tuesday at 7?
Tuesday at 7.
You have a class that you'll be doing live on your Facebook tomorrow night?
On my Facebook page, 7 p.m., Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles with me. And not in person at the Miracle Center for the winter, but only on Facebook live stream every Monday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Right, and we got a good 1.5 feet of snow up there
At
where
least.
we're at, so.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't.
Just in time.
That's why I wasn't online
couldn't
teaching
have timed it
today at
better.
the Miracle Center.
Yeah, did the class last week, and then here we are.
I know.
Wouldn't feasibly be able to drive down there tomorrow. Not, you know.
I know. Oh my God, the timing is amazing.
timing is-
Thank you, God.
Wow.
Beautiful. Love you guys. Love you so much. Appreciate you.